To show you the Learning Lab app for how a student would use it. Before I get into it, I want to be really clear. The learning does not happen inside of the app. The learning happens between people, and the app is there to help coordinate and facilitate. A lot of times I have people ask me like, hey, why can't your app teach me everything? And the reality is people like to have an app and just magically know things, or people like to listen to an audiobook in the background, not even pay attention, do something else, and believe now they know fluent French. The reality is like learning takes effort. You have to make new connections. You have to deal with the material, and a lot of times that's really good like doing with people, and you can't just have an app magically make the learning process unnecessary. So that said, the app doesn't teach you, it just helps you connect with people. Let's start. What you see here is a landing screen. It's just like a little hello, here we are. And there's a pretty normal login screen. I've created a test user. You can create a free account. It's pretty painless. So when you first come into the app, you're presented with the courses you can join. And I've created a course here for demo purposes. And so if you want to join private courses, there's an invitation code. And so now we're in the home barista code. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see there's like a home screen where you can pick a new home button to pick a new course and lessons. So this is where the actual curriculum lives. And our home course is set up to be 4 weeks long, and each weekly session is a level. And so if you open up the first level, we see there are 4 lessons. And the idea is that like when you come for a 2-hour class, you'd learn 4 lessons and you teach 4 lessons, and each one is about 15 minutes. When you walk into a learning lab for the first time, you'd be paired with a more advanced student who will teach you the first lesson, and the first lesson is how to set up an espresso machine. So we can open up the lesson, and practically here, like I said, you don't learn from the app. So this is where your mentoring student would take over and just like walk you through the app. And if you're a mentoring student, you might want to look at the instructions. They're just like quick reminders. They don't tell you how, like what the lesson is about. Like you're supposed to have learned the lesson from someone else, and you might just need a little reminder, like what are the teaching steps I have to go through. So it's like show someone how to fill up the water reservoir, demonstrate the grinding. And let's fast forward, like we do our teaching for 15 minutes. And at the end of the teaching lesson, your mentor partner would graduate you, like they would check off in the app that you have learned the lesson. And I'm on my computer logged in, and I'm just gonna graduate myself, and I'm actually gonna go back because it's a little nicer to see on the screen. You can see the 4 lessons, and you can see my mentor partner just graduated me. And now that I get a ribbon, I've got to check off. I can graduate other people myself. So I can hit this record button, and I can, for example, let's say, the next 15 minutes I'm going to teach Suri, and after I taught Suri, I want to check off that Suri has learned the lesson. So I see him here, I select him, and notice here, it's asking me a couple of questions. And the reason is, sometimes you have a round, you teach someone, and they're not quite ready to teach someone else, or they haven't fully gotten it yet. And that's really cool. It just means they need like another session. And you don't want to rush people, you want to like actually like give them the time to learn it properly. So like in this case, Suri actually learned it. And then you have on top of that sometimes graduation checks. In the past, sometimes students wanted to be graduated when they clearly hadn't gotten the lesson, and then it's very painful to tell them like, no, you're not ready, it's awkward. And so, lessons can have graduation checks. So you can communicate to your learner like, hey, this is something you don't demonstrate yet, and they can see like, yeah, I actually don't demonstrate that net, and that's for me like a, thing to focus on the next time I take the lesson, so that I get to check it off properly. So let's say Suri mastered it all, we can hit the record button, and now if you look in the middle of the screen, you see I've practiced the lesson once and I taught it once, so it keeps track of, how much effort I put in learning myself and also like how much I help other people. And if you go back to this, it's a little shorthand. P means practice, T means taught. So you can kind of collect cred as you teach more people. So let's just assume I went through all these lessons. I'm on my way home at the subway. I might want to review lessons, so I can go back here. I can just like look at like instructions. This is how we teach these lessons. Sometimes there's extra information, like there's some notes that are interesting to look at. Maybe I want to discuss it a little bit. Maybe there's something that was unclear to me. Oops. I might ask, what does the red button do? Right, and then maybe someone answers me, or maybe there's something confusing in the lesson. It's just nice to be able to talk back. Showcase is a part where, let's say we did a lesson where we did latte art. Let's just move over here. Mastering frothing, pouring basic latte art. It's kind of nice like to take a video at the end of your session of like how you poured the latte art, upload it to YouTube, then you can upload it here and then other students can see what you did. And it's kind of cool to see everyone like, where they're at. And then let's say in a month from now, after you had more practice with your coffee, you come back, you can upload another video and it'll show them actually side by side and you can see your progress. Part of learning is you want to see progress, you want to see you getting somewhere, and that's very motivating. And you can do that by first checking off lessons. You see how you move forward, and also to make videos because that shows you kind of how you progress within a skill. Like if you dance, maybe on day 1 your basic is kind of crappy, after a month it's better, after 3 months it's better. It's kind of nice to see how you develop over time. The final tab is Connect. And for Connect, I have to enable location. Oh boy. I think it's somewhere here in the settings where I have to set it on. Let's skip over that for a moment. Usually just click enable location and ask you yes or no. And then you can see people nearby you who can teach you this lesson. So let's say in your area there's no learning lab for home barista skills. So you could look up here, maybe someone else who has taken the course somewhere and they have mastered the lesson, and you can meet up with them outside of class and learn from them. And that's one of the ways how the learning lab is really flexible, and it just lets regular people share their skills in a more effective way. Nice, so that's the core of how we learn. Let's move over to the profile, just to give you like a little view here. You can enter your name, you can upload a profile photo. You have a little bio where you want to express like if you want to learn, study with other students. You can enter your Instagram, so that people can message you. You can disable your geolocation. And on top here is something really, really interesting. Sometimes you meet up with people and you want to kind of see what you can teach each other. It can be awkward to talk through, like, what do you know? And people are like, oh, I know this and that. And you're like, well, I know this and that. So this makes it easy. I'm gonna look up Suri. Let's assume Suri is my friend. I'm in Monday class, he's in Tuesday class. And we wanna see what we can teach each other. So I can look up his profile here. And then I click the button together. And I can see what we can do together. And I see the curriculum here. And I can see we've both learned the espresso machine setup. So I can't teach him that anymore, he can't teach it to me, but we could practice it together. Right now we're at the same level, but like if I were ahead of him, I could see which lessons I can teach him, or if he's ahead of me, I can see what he can teach me. And from here we can open up the lessons and do our usual thing. I want to show you another area of the app. And it's sessions. So right now we don't have a session, so I'm gonna set up on my computer a session right now. This is typically when you come to a class, a teacher would set up a session. And just give me one more second. Almost there. So I just called it number one, very simple. There's a session. A student would walk into a class, join the session the teacher set up, and right now there's like nothing to do for me. But I'm gonna make Suri join the session as well. And I can see on my instructor side, I have now 3 people in class. So now I'm gonna set up the first round. And we can see the first round tells me as a leader that I'm going to be learning from Thomas. And what I'm going to be learning is a lesson on how to pull the perfect shot. And then as I've learned the lesson and the round ends, we will have the next round. And this little session screen will show me with whom I'm going to work each session and what we're going to be working on, if I teach or if I learn. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.